Anje shendo me deba Drogen namda shena jeba yoyi
Ratna Mandala What exactly is a developmental Buddha nature lineage? Is it the virtuous aspect of sentient being's mind? Gengyu gi riksya de kharas di simchengi gebe number simchengi simgi gebe number dinsula gengyu gi riks gras
Gengyu gi riksya to de dus sigwares ra sanje gi duje yu ku jurun de la
so
sanje gi sa yu duje ku jurun de la gengyu gi riksya gwares
the developmental Buddha nature is that which is able to transform into the Buddha's composite holy body. Compounded holy body.
Gigi Sanje Sem Gigi Nuba Tachuni Dima Yinam Shiki thinking Nuba Chilai Nuba de Sabin de Zo Chen Shaguare Mando du Chitang Yenyu Grixie Sanje Tuji Kuturuna Sigare.
So that's the general explanation that whatever is that thing that transforms into the Buddha's compounded holy body. That is the developmental Buddha nature, but here it refers to the uncontaminated seed, that potential within the mental consciousness, which is that ultimate reality, referring to that kind of potential. And so that seed for the the seed for the uncontaminated mind is what is the developmental Buddha nature here in the context of this explanation. Then it would have to be in the seed or the potency for the uncontaminated mind, which exists within the. So the definition for developmental Buddha nature is that which is suitable to be transformed into the compounded holy body of the Buddha. Are Tathagata Garbha and Buddha nature synonyms, or do they mean slightly different things? Teshik Nyingbo Sangye Riksya Chorwa Chikparwas. Buddha nature Sangye Rik.
Rikdang Teshini Wuchipa Mares, Rila Namba Iba Ani Sak Tujek Kuturun Chidang Ani Sanjagi Ani Monyuku, Dumachiji Kuturun, Monyuku Turunchik Niyare. And I come the Rashi Nimbo said Sanje Guji Aranji Juji and Trubayi Namjela Demi Semji Chini. That day on Oya to do Tumataba, Karagon or to Grace and Sanje Guji Sim Timata Tuma maybe Semji Chini, more you could do already. In that Tuma maybe some more you Tuma Chini.
Tathagata Garbha and Buddha nature are not not synonymous. In the category of what is the Buddha nature, then you have both that nature which is able to transform into the compounded holy body of the Buddha, and that which is also able to transform into the uncompounded holy body of the Buddha, which is the Swabhavakaya holy body. So in Buddha nature you have both of these two. In what is the Tathagata Garbha, then that refers to the the Dharma Dhatu of the mind, the ultimate sphere of reality of the mind, which is on the basis of the sixth mental consciousness. And so this stainless mind, this undefiled mind is what will transform into the Swabhavakaya holy body. Chugi Chuni
Chuji say.
Chuyin da Chuni said Chiporevas.
Oh, did it? Chuji Chuni Yanda Beta Nelu Tadu. Ani Tishini Sama Meba, Member Meba Ganga, Shuni Kukri.
So, Dhamma Dhatu, the ultimate sphere of reality, the Chuni and the ultimate sphere, Yantapeta, the limit of purity, the ultimate final nature, suchness, signlessness, wishlessness, they are all the same. Tanda chupa yigi nyamshi gi tengi singbi chuni dita tima mebe semdi
tijek semrawa ngaran ju yugi kana tijek semrawa tijek ngaran ju semde tijek sem kui dingi semni chuni dang ane tima da jayu sem chuni ta dini
chuni de
tima da jayu sem chuni
다
semji chuni de tajing gongsu xewa nangxing chani ge zhongji ki chime jangdi chime rinpa xindu jangdi zamba da tar ani semde ishi chugu gong ojo chuni de ngoni gong ojo kore
tanda dewarshiba nyingbo de
dewarshiba nyingbo de semji chuni de la xiang kam dewarshiba nyingbo setting
so the Tathagata Garbha, what that refers to is in the Dharma Dhatu of the mind, on the basis of the mental consciousness. Our present, defiled mind, our present mind is a defiled mind, and the Dharma Dhatu, or the ultimate reality of that mind, is the ultimate reality of a defiled mind. But when those defilements are purified, completely purified, then the mind is what transforms into the wisdom Dharmakaya, and the reality, the Dhamma Dhatu of this mind is what transforms into the Swabhavakaya.
Inja Ranshi Nerila, Rangi Tenji is Chui, Tumada Jevi, Simji Chuni, Kanshi, and you know you would do Della, and the Ranshi Neri is Guari.
When we talk about the naturally abiding Buddha nature, then the naturally abiding Buddha nature is referred to the suchness of our defiled mind, which in due course of time, when it is purified, then is able to transform into the Swabhavakaya holy body. So, why can't sentient beings be virtuous by the power of its own suchness? By the power of its own suchness. Semjengi tengi ta chuni chyorwa.
Semjengi. Semjen sana kansa kore kongorwa semjule temba ki ngaranzo to semjenwa.
Sure. Then you toward that. Why can't sentient beings be virtuous by way of its own suchness? Semjen sia de kachen gewala never mayomba khachen res. Gewala never mayomba khachen res. Krang semchen krang tengi chunigi topki gewala never mayomba khachen res.
Chunigi dojima. Karasul. Semchen gewala never mayomba de semchen nimong xiawang to sonda dire. 다 semjengi sem nimon도 샤원도 송도 산바 아니 고슴지 녀제 강가 아니 가서 nimon단 드레비 미기 빌려지는 거래.
When sentient beings' minds are controlled by afflictions, then all of the activities of the body, speech, and mind become non-virtuous. If not, how did the first Buddha become enlightened? Are Buddhas also beginningless like sentient beings? The sentient susu teshin yiki topki gyawala never matubarachina ani tome sange said kandis chumbres tomagit sange tambo the kandis chumbres tanda semchen toma mebane tomegi semchen shavna shis sange said the tomene yoba in the chres
샤조그리
tomene. We can also say that Buddhas have been around since beginningless time. Okay. And what is the difference between Mange Ningbo and Teshin Shibe Ningbo? Teshin Shibe Ningbo. What's Mange Ningbo? Sange Ningbo. Sange Ningbo. Okay. Oh, sorry. What is the difference between the essence of the Buddha and Teshin Shibe Nyingbo, the essence of the Tathagata? Sange Nyingbo da Teshin Shibe Nyingbo la kewa khayor.
Ejiwe mare kamdora shibi nyingbo Sange Nyingbo said Teshin Shibe Nyingbo terashor kamdora shibi nyingbo tagala sigore.
There is no difference. Both mean the Tathagata Garba. How do we know everyone has been our mother? The Simchen Tamche Manzu Mayimba Chikandis Hakuresa.
What Simchen Tamche Mayimba de Tamashi to be Rubasa, Rangi Kiwala, Toma Meba. Riva Tandagin Aranzugi Tadegi Negaki, Riba the Tadi Negaki, Ribadegi, Rindangamachi, Riva Rindangamachi. 다디 내가 지금 말 하란도 단다 다다기 로 없지 주질 연배기 밑에기 말에 깨스 그러와 말에 맞지 말에 깨스 그러와 말은 로 없지 주질 연배고 말에 깨야 말 끼리 잡고 가고 정식 말아 이자 말에 깨세 그 귀정장 아마지 깨와 인자 귀정장 아마지 그 깨와 인자 아니 말에 깨스 거래 다른 아마기 가라 아니 마잉아도 인점 자마 타바 대기 태양 아니 태양이 르바대양 른랑아마치 대양 른랑아마 른다 차이 간라 단이 타투바 타요 말에 와
So you know, to know that all sentient beings have been one's mother, then one has to train one's mind in the logic that which is utilized for recognizing all sentient beings as one's mother. When we think of our life being beginless, this present continuum of our mind comes from a previous continuum, and that from its prior continuum, like that. And today, even though we may be like 50, 60 years old, still, we are the product of some mother, even though we weren't born, wrinkled and gray 50 years right away, but still, if you think back, go back in the continuum, we retrace it back all the way to the moment when we were conceived in the mother's womb. And then even prior to that conception, it had a previous continuum. And in that way, when we retrace that continuum, there is no limit to that continuum.
인상 마잉아도 인상 자마 타바기 남시 대기 주 예ling 주라 남시 릉장 아마지 샤고를 마도 대마인바 아니 탐보 수쟁기 아니 가서래 쌀을 담진 예래 미셔봐. 그와 쌀을 담진 예래 지고 아마래. 내 미셔봐야 코라 정자들라 코다를 잡아 그 남시 시작거래. 남시 대다 제왕아마나. 대에 남시 안 제왕 정장아망아망 제가나 다 두번명이 말해.
So when we reflect back on that consciousness that was first conceived in the mother's womb, when we think what is the substantial cause of that consciousness, it has to be its own previous continuum. Other than that, you cannot designate some physical matter as the cause for that consciousness. A physical matter cannot become a cause for an entity which is just clear and knowing. So therefore, its previous substantial cause has to be its own prior continuum. Something similar in type to itself has to be. So therefore, you would have to say it would have to be the previous continuum. So when we and what was the cause of that previous continuum is the prior life of that particular continuum, and that way, when we go backwards, then it's just limitless.
대제도 체디 마 아니 디네 체표디 아니 체디 그 마디기 릉다 치마 아니 가서래 좋아시엔 하담미 냐와 이다 가제 연아양 벤다위 남시디 마디 가사디 랑기 체디 마이 릉다 치마 인바이자 대야랑 그 말이.
And if one's present life mother passed away and got reborn as a deva or as a celestial being, as a human being, or someone in the hell realm and animal realm, into whatever state of rebirth that mother got reborn, it is still the same mental continuum of mother. And so in whatever future state of rebirth your mother got reborn into, that sentient being in the hell or in the deva realm or human is still your mother.
제왕아시 두에 된저 남대에 가서 코란 르바드서 마 삼로 땅제 삼로 동게지마 람상 가서래 니와 니에지 가버려 이러와.
So getting used to these kinds of logic to sort of convince us of everyone being our mother is something that you have to think about over and over and over and over again to convince yourself. These are the types of logics that are presented in the Pramana Vartika. And so these logics have to be something that one has to go into. Is just thinking it once or twice, you're not going to get the conviction that all sentient beings have been one's mother, even on the grounds of this logic.
Oh, yes.
Does afflicted suchness and suchness of an afflicted mind mean the same thing? Afflicted suchness. Tichegi semgi teshini da tichegi teshini kyabake yorasa.
Tichegi semgi tishinida.
Tichegi teshini da tichegi semgi teshini la kyabake yor. There is a difference between
tichegi semsina tumada jebi sem korangi ane tongbani chimada jebi sem korang shinji taba. Right? Tongban. Tichegi chimada jeba ki semla ane chimada jeba dala ambo yore, lu yore, drameda mambo yore, pumbo kanani, right? Suji pumbo yore, ambo yore, lu yore. Tichela. 어딘도 간가 chimada jebi chiyo kandang kanyina ti tongbadi tichegi tongbani man to ready tichegi chimada jebi semji chinyu marese.
In what is suchness, then in what is afflicted suchness, then all phenomena which is afflicted, within whatever is afflicted phenomena, and within whatever is afflicted phenomena, within that, subsumed within that, you have the body, you have the sensory factors, you have the aggregates, you have so many things that are categorized as afflicted phenomena. So you have the suchness based on these afflicted phenomenon. And teaching 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 semgi teaching
Teaching semjina that's mother jevi sem.
Korangi thing.
Korangi thing sem semji.
And when we talk about the suchness of an afflicted mind, then you're talking specifically about the emptiness of that particular afflicted mind.
Teacher sem dingi chuni se teacher sem se gara jindone xiawa mado Koran la yang teacher sem de la nangse ani kasere tumada jevi migi namshi tumada jevi nayi namshi tumada jevi ji namshi liji namshi yiji namshi chitani Koran la teacher sem mambo chiayo.
When we talk about this when we talk about the suchness of an afflicted mind, the afflicted mind is a very general concept. Within what is an afflicted mind, then within you have also a visual a visual perception which is afflicted, a mental perception which is afflicted, our sense of hearing which is afflicted, our sense of all our sensory perceptions are afflicted minds. So internally you have many types. When we make a statement of just an afflicted mind, then it's a general term. If so, is there a special reason why the term?
Rangi ten choose jua sana, tomata jevi sem kona sem kola raminda mambo yawa inza. Rangi ten choose jua sana, chuni di kangi dingi sem chuni imbaki, ane sem tiki, ane tomata jevi sem chuni, chuni kangi kanga rangshin ji takbaki, ane sem imbe, sem tiki chuni de la, rangi ten choose jua.
So when we talk about an afflicted mind, the suchness of an afflicted mind, then it would have to be that particular mind on the basis of which you are establishing its ultimate reality. Yes. If we,
it's the conventional element. So it becomes a seed, something, and mind,
Kunzo become the singi sabin resa. Kunzo become jura.
Kunzo become say that
Semre sabin resa. Kunzo become say the semre sabin resa.
Kunzo come semre karres.
Semre sabin resa.
Kunzo semre singati genju.
Kunzo become. Kunzo become.
제가 군소 감세데 genju 그르텔라 시고아레. genju 그르텔라 다다지 시와나신 사변도 아니 시와도 되자고 주run지라 genju 그르스도와.
So the conventional element is referred to the developmental Buddha nature, and so that in what is considered a developmental Buddha nature, you have seed, you have consciousness, or whatever. Because we are talking about, what is the developmental Buddha nature? Is that which is able to transform into the compounded holy body of the Buddha. 던담배 감디 생기 춘이르에서.
왜 던담에서는 심지 춘이지라 던담 춘이 되라다 던담바서 던담바 주요 강요 말에 춘이 되라다 그럼 던담 인장 아니 던담배 감시를 따는 만도 지당 군족의 감당 던담배 감시 전이 타녀 되시라 지금 말에
Nominally, we don't differentiate like absolute element and conventional element. But you can say that the Dhamma Dhatu of that element is what is the ultimate.
가서 지워져이나 된담기 감대라 신이 된바 인상 라신 내리되라고 된단지 감지가라 원이고 주르듯이 연주지 리드 군조 인바 인상 뒤제고 구주로 인상 대나코랑 오 군조 인상 군조 감전에 샤초그레데 슝기 내가서 타년 다지가라 아니 춘이르스 된가달라 라신 내리당 아니 연주지 뒤제고 주로나 어디 연주그 스타냐다 아마도 진짜 간단히디 싫었다고 말다나 다도 두스다 그래.
So, but if you do choose to classify it into conventional element and ultimate element, then you would have to say that the Dhamma Dhatu, that the ultimate sphere of reality is the ultimate element. And that is also the naturally abiding Buddha nature, that which transforms into the Swabhavakaya. And then you would have to say the conventional element is the development of Buddha nature, which transforms into the compounded holy body of the Buddha. But within the philosophical test, then it isn't very common to sort of to differentiate in this kind of way. How it is done is usually as a naturally abiding Buddha nature and development Buddha nature. So we are at the point of explaining what is the meaning of the cause.
ninji chimbola soya teshiwa chao said odadi tajin de simba ba dan di jela dan niwala tam kasore da yege kase gu ten si kana namja namba jin ju yu gona gu ten de she tela ani tajin do denji gona shaba de 칭찬네 또 협주 체거나 다 개와 shaba de 인지를
So earlier of the 10 points then in explaining we completed the brief explanation of what is the cause, what is the meaning of the cause, and now we go through the detailed explanation of it.
아니 교육원에 샤바데 아니 도템베권에 다시 시사와체.
So earlier when we talked about Kadireke, Yanjot 6.
나 처음에 다 비셔럽다 등등이 이제 내 총아 세시와를 따와라. 지금도 우 안에 어디다.
From a devotion to the Dharma, from the highest wisdom, and from samadhi and compassion, its realization arises.
어때나? 나 간데서 용거로 어서나 지샤바당 주빈님부 주랑시 체라도 샤바스 인용구도 와.
So the way it is presented is, first you have a general explanation of it, and then explaining the essence of, the essence of each one of these points.
다 담보될 주셰디 잠바 지셰디 잠바 아니 가서래 드제기 강사기 드바 제바셰 담보를 짜와들라 짜와던 데와체 아니 달라 아니 짜와들라 잡잡이 컨디션고 말해서 드제기 강사기 드바 셰바다 님부 주랑시 셰바 니용셰
So in the general explanation, then in the context within the context of the root text, then 당부디 가르침을
주바다 제비 강사 주바다 제와 샤바
explaining the individual who is with the the veils, the obscurations.
다 대체바되라 간데스레다 안나가 따와 돌아마 직슈가 되지나 철라 콩도 다다당 코이 동안 지지당 섬전 동안 전 가서지 대체 무디 남나 메서 그때는 내가 도와 철라 콩도 다다당
So the enmity towards the Dharma, a view asserting an existing self, fear of our samsara suffering.
철라 콩도 다다당 코에 동안 지지당 코에 동안 지지당 섬전 되라 되면이 섬전 되라 되면
and neglect of the welfare of fellow beings.
대체 무디 남지 지년도 남지 좀 이차를 당에도 대화시나야 살.
So are the four veils of those with great desire of Tirthakas, Shravakas, and Pratyeka Buddhas.
오야 나 딜은 도디야 고나 간디 도땡이 전에 간디 송거래 해서나 철라 콘트롤 다다당 세가라 큐바 침비 철라 콘트롤싱 시당와 안에 대바 첨보당.
The brief explanation of what the four veils are is being very hostile towards the Mahayana Dharma and having great, a desire.
아니 가사게 다도 추왔다에 따와 젠지 아니 무디 바당.
And then you have like the view of the self, self-existent self, like that, like the view of the Tirthakas.
괜히 라니 지비치도 아니 코에 동아지 지네.
Fearing for one's own samsaric suffering.
아니 섬전신 야와 도대바 년대당.
And then forsaking all other sentient beings, concern for all other sentient beings, the Shravakas.
가서 섬전 동아단 차와 다기 차오 냠바기 아니 냠비 아니 섬전 그 전라 떠와 매바기 아니 랑자.
And having no sense of any sort of incentive, feeling for the welfare of sentient beings, feeling for having no sense of responsibility for the welfare of sentient beings, like the Pratyakas.
어디래다 이나 철라 콘도 다다탕 선와 코에 동아 지지당 디라년 되제 섬전 되라 되면지 아니 안주 남지 좀 남시 세례다 집안 남바시
So these are the fourfold obscurations or veils, which is the the enmity towards the Dharma, the view of asserting an existing self, like the view of the Titakas, fear of samsara suffering, like the Shravakas, and neglect of the welfare of fellow beings, like the Pratyakas. So although the presentation of these four veils are differentiated by different bases, but in order for us to progress on the minor path, then these four veils have to be abandoned. All of these four veils have to be abandoned, even though in this presentation it is differentiated by different bases.
Oh yeah, that sibi talunwa, shivi talunwa, tanidan trawa sumdu chene, ni sibi talunwa sedana, ani koi 连续机王给，你养的养都结哇，你是比谈论话去。
So you have falling into the extreme of samsara, falling into the extreme of nirvana, falling into the extreme of samsara, meaning taking rebirth in samsara over and over and over again due to the force of karma and delusions.
아니 코에 동아지 지은이 아니 코에 동아 아니 가서래 개발치에 싸와래 녀몽 빵니 아니 녀몽 녀와시 차원도지 그 동안 녀와라 시위 시와 초저 잠 시와 초저 잠라 송와대 그봐 가서래 시다 고지기 아니 시다 고지기 이제 전부 줄라 마게 봐 인장 아니 시다 타주바를 반 예랑 다좀봐 그래서 시위 탈롱하라 하고 말해.
And then falling into the extreme of nirvana's peace, due to fearing for the sufferings due to the fear of the sufferings of samsaric existence, and thereby then abandoning the causes that generate all the fears of samsaric existence, which is the afflictions, and so thereby by thoroughly pacifying what is known as the suffering of pervasive conditioning, then falling into the extreme of nirvana's peace. Due to, like in the case of the Shravakas and the Pratyakas, due to not having kasa nyingji chiksusa. Shitalhuya nyingji. Because of not being able to generate the compassion that brings forth the stop from falling into nirvana's the compassion that stops us from falling into the extreme of nirvana's peace.
Oh yeah. 다더니 숨예비 나네 당분요 태양 아니 가소래 당분요데 아니 스신이가 그탄 아니 가소래 스신이가 그 탈란데비 미네비냥은 두지지 야라도 셔와 응아를 당부 아니 가소래 시비탐 송화데 시비탈라 차와 콜마동아 시비탈라 말롱와체 되네 시비탈라 말롱 되네다 가소래 스신이가 그 탈라 미네비냥데 두지기 야라도 두스도고 이제 당분요데 아니 미네비냥을 두게 야라도 다 가소래 야나도 씌워셔.
And the third category is, the category who has not fallen into either of these two extremes of samsara and nirvana, and so not falling into these two extremes of samsara and nirvana is the cause for attaining the non-abiding nirvana.
That's why. Oh, yeah, that digi, and that the order like Java said you can. Any castle, Tumatashi, Gutiba Chella, Tuba Chimbi Chella, maybe Laba, maybe Gushi, said you can. Nela, any castle, Tuba number she would said you can. Tuba number she said you can. Dingela, castle, Sibitat Humada. Sibitam Humada, Shivitat Humada, or Tigi, David. 대체그 아래 가소래 모두를 그냥 어찌니 저와 시번 대바 섬전라 나바 숨요와레스 너도나 섬전라 나바 숨요와레스 시번 대바 시베 탈홍신 타바 미대바지 와 시번 대바 시베 탈홍와서 랭이지 왕그 코르지신 아니 코알라 타바게 타바 미대바지
So in the detailed explanation, then it explains, the factors that help in the purification of these defilements, these four wheels or four obscurations, beginning with like the devotion to the Maya Dharma and so forth. So explaining what is the nature of someone, who falls into the extreme of samsaric existence, explaining the three types of beings, the one who falls into that extreme of samsara is someone who has no aspiration, no intention to attain liberation, who has no aspiration or intention to get out of samsaric existence. And so such a sentiment, such an individual then takes rebirth in samsaric existence over and over and over again under the control of karma and delusions.
시바되바 시비 타송식 아니 타발 믿어봐 제이체 다양 시바단 자니 코엔 동안란 지니 아니 시바 알라 타제기 남공발라 때네 시바단 자와 되바 이니야 시비 타송마 지.
And so such a sentient being, who desires samsaric existence and who has no intention to ever get out of samsaric existence, no intention for liberation. So you have one type, and then the second type of sentient being, who has much fear of the sufferings of samsaric existence, and has wish to attain nirvana's peace, and in order to actualize that wish, then meditates on the path to achieve that result. And then the third type of sentient being, who is not fallen into either of these two extremes of samsara and nirvana, who is removed from these two extremes.
Oh yeah, that didn't answer the Sajama take to the Sajama Chemogache. That any Tambo Siban Deba Sibi Tal Huma Shiva Muteba Tela. And the country go there and a Tabe Lamla Shedava. Taba Meadow, she go at them get chicked. So, Taba Meadow, she go at them get chicked. Taba Yuba Shejang, any Tabala Jabji Choba, Losajan, any Dan Yonsunyang and Mindavi, Rigi Simjan, Sirgana, that Rick Chabaki Simjan, 是他就刚才深圳比如啦，这些个什么是个啊的，这点这个什么嘛的，因此那个这些个什么去，
那个。As neka brikche de sushi was.
Kale di rwana.
Neka brikche wat.
Ne tambu chung song ale.
Chung.
Ta bi lam la xie zhe ba ta ba me ba dong ge jie yi qian. Guo de ji qian.
So who is that type of sentient being? Who has much desire for samsaric existence, who has absolutely no wish for nirvana's peace, is that individual who is totally averse to liberation. Totally averse to liberation meaning like someone who thinks that there is no such thing as liberation. And even though they may know that there is such a thing as liberation, but themselves are totally turned back on it. They turn their back toward it. Either they deny it or turn their back towards it. And so such individuals then, it is said, are temporarily have their lineage cut, severance of lineage.
他你话的啦，他把越把得奖是吧？谢奖，安尼样他把那夹起错哇，他把那夹起错呢，老实讲是这个，他把那夹起错哇，那个用是娘来明代为日，团队娘的团队民业吧，那个日这个什么是吧？安尼靠你得的娘来台湾呢，团队你往满意吧。 So
the second one is that even though they know there is such a thing as liberation, then themselves as an individual having turned their back on what is liberation, having this kind of mindset of total denial or wrong view. With regards to what is liberation, and then the other third factor is one has absolutely no interest to attain what is liberation. One's only interest to attain is only samsaric existence.
我听着我的日系考他大给
听那个 Richard 是吧？
Richard 是蛮大的。
谈的
你看啥是你讲？
谈的
那个 Richard 得把人嘛 ，Richard 嘛的。
那个 Richard and so therefore we would say that such individuals are temporarily then have the the severance of their lineage.
因此听着为看啥台啦，你日系考完了他大，考完他大了，我就愿意，你就当。 他把团结的落进民里把印上，按照看了，个日前是他，日前是他就话他我原来做了，我们来日前是大王马到身上把男性的日点这个看上要马的是，怎么的？日点这个光先把的光把钱，
So such individuals, who within whose mind there's no sense of wanting to definitely to get out of samsaric existence, who have not generated any sense of definite emergence, renunciation of samsaric existence, who are unable to generate the interest or intention for liberation, then we say according to the in accordance with Prasangika, then this is the other types whose lineage has been severed, but this severance is just like temporary. There's no such thing as total severance of the lineage.
Oh yeah, tenderly, I need Kasaniwate. 去对吧？你的是哪把三节吧？热的是，太大给俺的看的人是呢，太大看俺的看起，俺的初中给老娃给内容怎么营养？初中给老娃给俺的为了点，为了节的，初中给来内容啊怎么营养？ 가사 그 다음에 라但是 가사 그 다음에看没人吧是吧 가사 그 다음에 라바자면 대개 말을 봤어요 가사 그 다음에 라바자면 아니 리시된도 미루신 팀명이 되네라 시에네 티바침비 팀명이 되네라 시에네 아니 티바침보 산제지 가르미 된게 다 텐데 지자고 하는 말이에요.
And the second type of individual can be like a Buddhist, and who's a suitable vessel with respect to, with respect to training in ethics, but whose mind stream, is a suitable vessel for the training in ethics, but someone who does not accept selflessness of a person, who does not accept even a coarse form of the selflessness of selflessness of a person, and who clings to the teachings, and who does not accept the Mahayana teachings.
아니 티메지 되네라 셴바체네 아니 티바침비 또 대산제지 까마이노 시 꾸와 대바 인장 아니 가서 쳐라 콩도 아당 쳐라 콩도 세디 딜레온 바래.
So being very attached or obsessed with the Hinayana teachings, and has a very strong sort of denial of the denial or a hostile attitude towards the Mahayana teachings, and regarding it as the words of the Buddha, as not the teachings of the Buddha. So such an individual is like, as stated in the root text, someone who bears enmity towards the Dharma and a view asserting an existing self.
대답이 또 많이라 나도 자와당 안티버침보다 갈때 많이 뭐 대답이 또 많이라 대당에 년대야 많이노 셰르부 대단히 머리 비면 뭐 투보 까베 면바에 치면바당 저우 동안 메사버 유매 나와 줄에 세간다가 딱 간제 되게 전다도 쉬나 가르스 거래에서나 텐더에 가사 대다 좀 된데 가서 가서 년도 많이 좀 된데야 대답이 좀 많이 있으니 다투 순거래.
So such an individual then in the sutras it says that such an individual then the Buddha the Buddha is not their teacher, and they are not even a hearer, not even a Shravaka disciple, and the Buddha is not a teacher for them. Kansa di dawati.
So
what you're saying? Yeah, so such a person is not a hero disciple. Sangegi chumdendegi sungores. In the sutra, it says that the Buddha says that he's not their teacher and they are not a hero disciple. Because for them, they are defined as individuals who have fallen in the stream of samsara.
단다데 시바도바데라 나바니 세투스직샤 그러나 나 다시 타동마 되라 아니 양 가르소래 타마인바라 슈바다 타라 슈바 니체
So in this way you have two types of individuals that are considered as having fallen into the extreme of samsara, and then you have two types who have fallen into the extreme of nirvana. One who is engaged in a proper method, and one who is engaged in an improper method.
따와단 저바 니기 권에 쳐들라 치료도 좋아 아니 치료와 근도 주다 제부와라 소와 아 같이 생각이 뒤 온도 라야 구하대봐 생각마에 치마야 매체 온도 매받던 게 온도 매받던 구하던 게다
So one group who in the form of their conduct or in their philosophical view, then are such that that they totally deny past and future rebirth. Also deny that such as that there is no such thing as higher rebirth as devas and human beings.
당원도 개래장 타발라 구원대바 아니 쩌바와라 소와 치료와 쩌바와라 소와 다자도 마와 거기다 무디버트 조샤가 아니바래.
And then you have and then you have Tithikas who do accept a higher rebirth but deny liberation.
다 니우 가사 니와 되라 치료와 대단 tum바 쩌바 최두바 니라 대바 회장서 남배 군조라 군조숨라 대바 회장 동바니지 되라 녀라 송아 치지로도 증바 다 사모 동바니기 되라 치지로도 증바.
And then you have the second, that's the first, and in the second category of individuals, then who they have faith, they may have faith in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, but have a totally mistaken understanding of the meaning of emptiness.
동바니라 치지로도 증바 단 남바 산제와 가소래 가사기다. 초바단 초주 가사야로 달라야 그셔나 전화시 전에 초바단 초주 가라야 뭐죠 가사란제 투비 이제 캘레바기 안에 제라 내마 포와 주셔고 말이야.
So an example would be those individuals who are basically Buddhists, but accepting the self of a person, which is like the Vaibhashikan view of a person who is independent, substantially self-sufficiently existent.
내가 보면 대화디 공도 셰버게 남바 산제와 같이 이것이 시송아 추림지 나와 그 냠내 회장 가사게 다 캐내게 대당 캐 민자와 공도 셰비 최디바 대당 가사게 다 캐nem바 다양 안자디비 제이도 좋아게 가사게 다 람바 캐nem바다 나마티기 타발라 되니메 티바치보라 당 가스타발라 되니메지 티바치보라 땅와이 치마디 타발라 되니이지 티바치보라 구와 미디바.
So in the case of the first type of individual, who has who upholds a training in higher ethics, but who asserts the view of this existing self, and who has no interest in liberation, in the attainment of liberation, and who totally denies the Mahayana teachings as the teachings of the Buddha. And in In the case of the second, in the case of the second individual, then, holding on to the view of a self, independent, substantial, self-sufficient existent self, and who has interest in the attainment of liberation and does not deny the Mayana.
Oh yeah, in the day, Gala, Kanduso, Childubata Kasaka, Kalemban, Dryang, Sundugana, Amata, Dean with Dark Kalemba, Darayan, Dranayang, Namala Taba Tuni, Tiba Chimbuchura Dawa, Yin Nama, Chimadela, Tabala Tuni, Yeji, Tiba Chimbukua, Medeba, Kajigo, Nama Puala, Sungu are the day. That dilla Nama Puvagi said the Chirama Tigi. Dark cab, Lena Million says that dark cat lens soon at the dark cat Lena, and then Tiggy Tawakatachi Chajashi says it. What number came then, Tawakatachi Chajashi, Tawakatachi Chajashi cat, and Million Galana, better to touch your
So basically, between the first and the two groups, they are same. With respect to asserting the view of a self, in that way, in that view of asserting an existing self, they are the same. But what is different is, in the case of the first one, they have no interest in attaining liberation and deny the Mayana teachings as the teachings of the Buddha, like that. And in the case of the second one, there is the interest to attain liberation, and they do not deny the Mayana teachings. So in that respect, they are different. So that is the view of Nemapur is one of the sub-schools of the Vaibhashkan, the main Vaibhashkan school. There are many sub-schools. It's one of the sub-schools. So also amongst these schools, there are those that accept self, and those that assert a self, and those that do not assert self. But generally, to classify whether you are someone, who propounds a Buddhist tenet or not, is distinguished on the basis of whether you accept these four distinctive views of the Buddhist or not.
Duje tamje midaba, sakja tamje dungawa, che tamje dongxin dangmeba, nyangalen dewa shiwa se o chakja se gara, ane yuwa namba sanje waji yin chinje la, ane dawa chakja dawa nashine, tamju dawa nashi, right?
So also it's these four distinctive views of the Buddhist is what is also like known as the the four Buddhist seals or stamps of approval, that kind of like that, to grossly put it. And what they are is in the acceptance that all composite phenomena, everything that which is compounded is impermanent, that which is contaminated is suffering, that all phenomena are empty and therefore selfless, and nirvana is peace. So these are the the four Buddhist seals or stamps. The four distinctive views, Buddhist views. So this is one's acceptance of these four distinctive views is what defines one as a follower of a Buddhist tenet or not.
In the Kasore, Kasakita Kailena, and it did this one. Kerubuchengi Karesore Sana, that Chujita Kailen. Todewadang Ani Cheramawa Niga Chujita Kailen Bache. That Chuda Kailen be Dindu, Ani Kansaki Dark Kailan Bajina, Ani number Sanje Trisam Togumares. Kerubuche Tsumare.
So Kedrubuche has stated that, if one is a proponent of someone who accepts the existence of a self of a person on the basis of accepting the self of phenomena, if you also accept the self of a person, which is what is the case with Vaibhashikins and Sautrantikins, then according to Kedrumichi, then you do not have even the scent of being a Buddhist, even the smell of being a Buddhist. Phenomena. The self of a person. I said that already. Didn't I say that? No, I said that, those who accept the self of a person on the basis of even accepting the self of phenomena, which is what is the case for Vaibhashikins and Sautrantikins, then such individuals, in accordance with Kedrumichi, then you don't even smell of being a Buddhist. So, I think I said that was what I said.
Dilemma don't have the sense of being a Buddhist. Is that what you mean?
This word. Do devada sam samatise number samge sungi besa.
Do devada.
Do devada chitawa mawa.
What is suares? Then the career is na. Tak singadela. And the D dark calambadra said, Ranja to be say dark calambadras. Yatayage, Umboda Sojin Kala and Tawa, might be says you be Kansa to Tawa, so in the Ranja to be say dark calang grace. Kansa dark caling marriage, that do still worry.
That is the case when you accept a self which is independent, substantial, self-sufficiently existent. Not the self of a person on the basis of the aggregates or the collection of the aggregates. So when you posit a self which is permanent, single, independent, and then or when you sort of posit a self which is independent, substantial, self-sufficiently existent, in these two selves, in these two versions, there's a differentiation of a slight differentiation of what is gross and subtle.
Oh, there is a Jumden Kasore, Duji, Lojedan, Tumba, and a Chetan Gogo Yawa Inzang Reshi, Kansaki Dame Dana, Kola Pendo Mingur, Kansaki Dag Dana, Kola Pendo Yewi, Kansa Tela, Ani Toma Dagden, Tea Dini Tene, Ani Damelaya, Tua Chaba Inzang Inzang. Kansa ke ta tempi to se der ranja tu bi zai ku to tempi ki to la shani ro te ten sa de la ani nema pu be de wa ka shi de la ranja tu bi zai ku ta tempa la kansa ke ranja tu bi zai ani sun ta no ma de ma
when the Buddha taught the disciples, he taught the Dharma to suit he taught whatever Dharma was, harmonious to their mind or suitable for their mind. So for some of those disciples, then, if from the very beginning to teach about selflessness was something, not beneficial for them, then he taught for such disciples. Then he began with the teachings on the self of a person. And so you have, and then initially by giving them teachings initially, then giving in accordance with their mind level mindset, then first teaching on the self of a person, and then gradually guiding them towards the selflessness of a person. So you have sutras that do teach on the the self of a person which is independent, substantial, self-sufficiently existent, as taught to some of the sub-schools of the Vaibhashikans.
좀 된 대기 다도 여바 땡 요아래 손에 요아래 다 땡바 나 땡사 땡나 다때 땡사 그 두자지 고고하러 두자 대기 안에 다 캐는 게 고고하래 캐 매년 바지라 콜 판도 뭐인자 다 캐는 게 고고하래 인산 다 캐는 시베기 다대 란자 투비 자유기 다라잖니 란자 투비 다도 땜비 다 땜바기 도대양 란자 투비 자유기 투어 땜비 도라잖니.
So yes, the Buddha did teach on the existence of a self, and Buddha taught on the existence of the self of a self because there were disciples, who accepted the self of existence of a self. The Buddha is not going to teach about the existence of a self to someone who does not believe or accept the existence of a self. He's not, because there were disciples who accepted that viewpoint. Then he taught about the existence of a self. So that sutra is those sutras are sutras that teach on the self of a person, that which is independent, substantial, and self-sufficiently existent self.
Oh yeah, 근데 제자장이자 다지당 친한 그 제바쇼도 가라 따위권에 샤야지다 주비권에 샤야지 가라 따위촌에 아니 가사가 다 캐린 바인자 따와 나바가 따와를 치료도 주와 주비촌에 아니 구조소 캐린당 아니 주든지 나와 조체 이들이 요인장 주비촌에 아니 나바래 야취해 근데 아송아요 말씀.
So therefore, when you differentiate Buddhist and non-Buddhist, then you can differentiate Buddhist and non-Buddhist on the grounds of, your philosophical view or your mode of conduct, on the grounds of your conduct. If you have a view accepting the self like that, then from the point of the philosophical view, then you are a non-Buddhist. But from the point of view of a conduct in which you have the faith and devotion to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and accept morality or ethical discipline, then from the perspective of the conduct, then you are Buddhist.
Oh yeah. that is it. 대단한 가소래. 다 가사가 란자투비 자유라 매와신가 찍체. 아니 가사가 란자투비 자유도 매바 가사가 다음에 된게 란자 맞지 온 거로 봐.
So you have a group that accepts the independent, self-sufficient, substantially existent person, and a group that accepts the selflessness of such a person.
다 가사 숨바지 내루지 타도 봐 콘도 마주 신도 콘도 치도 냠도 냠바기 아니 문병 아자제 동반이도 따와대 돈이 된발 시험봐 라 돈이 된발 시험봐.
Then you have the third category, who of a person, who has not realized the final mode of existence, the final nature of existence, but has this kind of, the pride has this kind of pride of thinking that that the individual has the realization of the final mode of existence and holds emptiness as being truly existent.
인상 다다와 도대와다 제라마체가라 다와 아니 가사 숨바 셈잠바도 샤초고아리 봐.
So this you have Vaibhashikans, you have South Tantricans, and the third category would be Chittamatrans.
이상 내루지 타투바 콘도 마치 신도 아니 콘도 치도 냠비 원뱅아자잔 동반이도 따와라 동반이도 따요 동이라 된두를 셴바 세가라 선전바기 아니 용주 된두도 생기와 동이 된두도 되고 와래 샤왕당 용주 니워도 된두도 되고 와래
So the third category being individuals who have not realized the final nature of phenomena, but through their pride, then think of having that realization of the final mode of existence of phenomena, and thereby, hold the view of a truly existent emptiness, like the Chittamatrans, who accept that other powered phenomena, thoroughly established phenomena, to be truly existent.
다들 동반이도 따와 동반이도 따와 다시 시원하지 동반이데 남바타비고 그러마 동반이도 따와 간다 티 남바타비고라 남바타비고레스 남바타비고라 동반이도 따와를 교하고 동반이 생각데 남바타비고레
So what is emptiness? Emptiness is the door of liberation.
다 남바타바데 냥알렌 대와 아니 통이 그러와 냥알렌 대바 토비 고암 탑레스 남바타비 고서는 양대 토비 고암 탑레스.
So this door of liberation is the method to attain nirvana, to attain liberation.
인자 양대 토비 고암 탑니 아니 탑대 가르샤고레서나 돈이 도비 셔라비레스.
So what is this method that enables the attainment of that liberation is the wisdom realizing emptiness.
인자 선자바기 아니 동반이데 된주도 셴바 다 소미룽의 레식 안에 소미룽의 따와자레 따와데 소미룽의 따와자레
소미룽하스나
따와데가 소선 never 내라 소미룽하스나.
Okay. So for the Chittamatrans who hold emptiness as being truly existent, then it is that kind of view is a view from which one cannot revive.
인자든다 디 소야데 아니 가르레서나 셈자바기 송진 제타데기 똥바 내루 타도 태다 텐다비 내루 타도 태양 아니 랑그 천이지 주보야 된주인바 어 샤지 샤와 테라 따탄다기 가사 숨바게 따와디 테라 안장고나마 정화 집이 시거인 바래.
So for the Chittamatrans who hold the duality of the duality of the apprehended and the apprehender, who hold that the final nature, final mode of existence of phenomena is something that which exists by way of its own characteristics, truly exists. So, this would be the third group.
근데 인자 지부 샘자바기 아니 가서래 랑그 천이지 주와 된주고 차도 전에 인자 샤왕 당 용주 니보데 랑그 천이지 주 아니 대바 주 있거래.
So because the Chittamatrans define that whatever exists by way of its own characteristics is truly existent, so everything that is other powered or thoroughly established phenomena are all asserted to be truly existent.
이다 랑그 천이지 주와 된주지 차도 전에 대체매 레바르샤비 남자 조셔발라 아니 조셔발라네 까바 된진지냐와 되어봐 많이 노 rang tenyi juba dendu ki chadu chana te chame leba jokshe bala dendu ki chadu chana te chame leba chame leba mare chame kribi dendu ki chadu chana te chame kribi namsha jokshe bala ani kaba tenzin ji nyewa di yoba mare stati khande sore sana tanju wagi ani khade sana rang tenyi ji chuwa di deba chubi chuje tu chane te chame kribi dendu de rang chame kribi namsha jokshe ba de tanju wala ani kaba tenzin ji nyewa di yoba mare kaba deba chubi tenzin deba chuba chubi nyewa di yoba mare
So in the Prasangika system, something that which exists by way of its own characteristics is truly existence is what is refuted by a valid mind.
That's one.
Thank you, Bergita. Rangi Tsini Dube.
Rangi Tsini Dube, Dendubji Tatu Chane, Deba Tubi Tutu Chane, Teme Kibi Namsha Joshua Vadala, Ani Rangi Tsini Tua Gabi, Gaba Denzingi, Gaba Dendu to be Denzingi Yawa Mare.
So, because for the Prasangikas, they are able to negate or refute with a valid mind. The true existence of everything that which exists by way of its own characteristics, because they are able to negate that, refute that, so they are able to stop the grasping at the truth that arises.
진주 가수 제자 넘바 제자나 남주라니 대미 세대기 전다 가르서 그래 제자스나 랑기 천돈이 참고 랑기 천이지 주와 까비 랑기 천이 주와 넘바 제비 제자 돈이 참고 콘도 치발라니 아니 돈이 도비 셰럽지 심비 체나 아니 까바데 돈이데 아니 랑기 천이지 주와 셴비 시와 말레시
in reflecting upon subtle emptiness, that which analyzes the existence by way of its own characteristics, and when this realization, when one has the complete realization of this subtle emptiness, then one is able to completely negate that existence by its own characteristics.
Yes, one.
Touching love shy.
Come on,
Jeja Quran Tony Reves.
Jeja, I'm going to got some. Got some. Java number Jason, Jeja number Jason, Jabba Chawati, the Rangatani Truache.
What is negated is existence by way of its own characteristics.
Oh, Jabba Chawa Rangi Tani Truba, number Jabba Chane, Namjulani Dayumi Sigala, Tony Chamo Kondo Chibi, Tony Tovi Sherabchi Simbichi, Gaba Rangi Tani Trua, Shambaki Shiwa Mares. That sums up Rangi Tani.
So, when that analyzing consciousness, then analyzes that existence by way of its own characteristics and is able to negate it totally, then within that mind that has that complete realization of the subtle emptiness, then it does not have any of the basis grounds of grasping at existence by way of its own characteristics, which is unlike which is very unlike that of a Chittamatma viewpoint, in which everything which is thoroughly phenomena that which are other powered or thoroughly established are beholden as being truly existent.
인자 샘샘 받은 주의다 가르레에서나 순진 제태대도 타대기 주와 까바가 치료천도 주바마 순진 제태대도 주와 까비 까잠지 동반인지 누구 이제 누구 와래 동바대 이제 된줍도 되어봐요 된줍도 되어봐 인자 손미로 따와체 들어고 와래.
So although Chittamatans are able to negate or refute the duality of the apprehended and the apprehender, although they are able to refute that, but whatever emptiness they come up with is still consistent.
아니 손미로 따와자래 세네 송아를 선선배 따와 코랑 아니 탐제 쳔바 줘 토토바를 쳔바기 아니 탐마인 바라 말에
So we say that because the Chittamatrans hold emptiness as being truly existent, so because of that viewpoint we say that that this view is cannot be revived. You say it's a kind of view that cannot be revived, but it is in no way saying that the Chittamatran view is a method to liberation. 탑 마인 버슨 거 말.
민젤을 두고 알았어. 돈이 된도도 떠봐 태양 처지 담어 참았다 민젤을 두고 알았어.
Because but even though we say that this Chittamatran view is a view that cannot be revived, but it still is a method, because it is a method with respect to bringing forth within our mind stream the ripening of the subtle selfnesses of phenomena. It's a ripening factor for the for the subtle selflessness of phenomena.
샘잠반 가사 대다기 아니 콜로 타마기 콜로 탕탕 파파비 공바디 콜로 타면 제와라 때네 아니 콜로 파바고 공바 떠가지고 그래 콜로 타마
컨디션 콜로 타메
콜로 타미 내가 수 컨디션 버레에서나 샘잠비 갑지 추이다메 참어디 된 거래 샘잠 갑지 아니 최지 담에데 또발라 때네 되게 민제라 때네 아니 콜로 바비기다 가서 아니 최담제 라시 주베 탄주에 따와도 또박 민제라 도가래.
So in the final turning of the wheel of Dharma, within those teachings, then those teachings enable the realization of the subtle selflessness of phenomena. So you can see, all of those teachings then help with the ripening or the realization of whatever was taught in the middle turning of the wheel of Dharma. Because in the middle turning of the wheel of Dharma, the subject matter is teaching on that all phenomena do not intrinsically exist. So all the teachings in the third turning of the wheel of Dharma are regarded as a ripening factor for the realization of the teachings in the middle turning of the wheel of Dharma. Therefore, you cannot say that the Chittamatran view is not a method.
년대기 특바다 tumba 가사 그 년대기 특바다 라자기 특바로마 대다기 가소래 가사다 최이 다음에 참 콘도 최신 아니 또와 마세 통남 톰내장 도 무슨도 또봐 양다바니도 내와 쉬워다 어 된다와디야 토자니가 아니 타바 니무 문이를 밤에 타바 토바친 게 직당 대단 자와 랑자 틴디 바리.
So then we talked about those that are engaged in the method, in the appropriate method, the two that are engaged in the proper method, then those happen to be who train in the Shravaka vehicle and the Pratyeka vehicle, who generate the realizations of the selflessness of person and the selflessness of phenomena, and not only generate those realizations, but attain the path of seeing and engage yantape tala.
Tonam tone. Anu gon rimbachi do gonam tone. Ani taba chigara.
Attain the path of seeing and then a path of meditation respectively, and eventually come to abandon the obscuration of delusions and attain liberation.
Orang tumba yizang digi ani nyendo da ranja nila ani dame chamoni kondo chiba yobate ditangwa.
So and it is the same for the the Pratyakas too, and so it shows that so this shows that Shravakas and Pratyakas, then they do have the realization of the subtle selfless.
Ode doche da gasore tab inbasere sanje tobi tab jobadang jibi den semje la chena tandadi ya nyara nyode tamayin bala shuare ma tabla shuwa mare da tab mai tabdan tamayin ba shede 동반이라 만자와 전이 탑단 탐마인 바체 집이 일라 전아 아니 녀란 요어 되기 줄라 저완인지 전보다 상주성 매와 인장 아니 탑다 타와샤고 그래 탐마인 바래시 봐.
So again, when differentiating those who are engaged in a path and or engaged in an inappropriate path, first we did so on the grounds of the philosophical view, but if we did on the grounds of the conduct, then you can say like those if you on the grounds of the conduct of bodhicitta, great compassion bodhicitta, then you would have to say that those who are engaged in the Shravaka and the Pratyeka paths then are not. You would have to say that that they are engaged in a path that which in a method that which is not the method.
Oh, 이다 탑 아니 저바다 제비된 섬제라 전화 탐마인바라 슈바이나양 타바다 탐제 칸 토바 체장 따위권에 안에 탑지 타투바데 안에 돈이 참모 콘도 추발래 셴 매바인장 아니 예란 니장 아니 예란 남라야 돈이 탐모 무슨 떠바 여장 여바인장 안에 탑라 슈바레스.
So from the perspective of the conduct, when we say that the conduct of the bodhisattvas, from the perspective of the conduct, then you may say that the Shravakas and Pratyakas are engaged in a non-method, but from the point of of the view or from the perspective of attaining liberation, then they have the realization of the of the emptiness, direct realization of subtle emptiness, and so they are engaged in a method.
Oh yeah, that cancer somebody language you want to see by Kiawatang. And they say by Kiawa Chabala to be Yande Niga on by Miteba. Cancer somebody. Language you want to see by Kiawatang. And it's Sibar Kiawa Chabala to be Yande Niga on by Miteba. And it Tiba Chimbola never Tiba Chimbi, Denegi, any 대녀기 도자라 특징지 도자 특바침이 대녀기 특바침이 노남지 체도자의 도자텔라 조당 파와 니래 그와 파와 니래 치마데 나저 제바와 체 지보대 가소래 조대 단주가다 자샤고 인지를
그 숨부터는 당부 레닝 왕게
세바께와체
세바께와체 니바
야 메데 시바께와체 잠라 토베냐데 티멘기냐데 라니 지보 아니 시와트도니비 아니 티멘기냐데 저와 저 어때야 믿어봐 그와 믿어봐 아니 티바 침비라 티바 침비 가서 티바 침보라 양다바 내봐 아니 티바 침비 내녀기 내내마 티바 침비 너희 체도 제위 노자텔라 조당 파와 니요아레
So, okay, so and then you have the third category of individuals, who who have no desire, no wish for samsaric rebirth, brought on by karma and delusions, and who have also no wish for nirvana's peace, but have aspiration towards the Mahayana collection of teachings, and who are very much engaged in that pure path, and so who abide in such a path. And in this group, then you have those that are regarded as the principal type and the ordinary type. The principal type would be the prasangikas, and the ordinary tribes would be the Yogacharya Chittamatrans.
다 파와데 컨디션에서나 대신 잠지 퀴 대신주기 아니 단된주 코라 단된데라 니체니 대신주기 지당 대신 단장 퀴 공부 현도 창고야지 대신 잠지 전지당 아니 뭐네 자네기 단된주기 니여 반난장 대신 잠지 전데 대사들라 아니 삼자바 여바 인장 대체
So of the third category, the ones that are regarded as the ordinary type and the principal type. The ordinary type are those who qualify nominally as that, and just superficially, just by words, they qualify as that, and then and who are actually of the type are the prasangikas.
Oh yeah, that 가소래 조어데 컨디션에서나 아마디 누자 조어데 아니야 초도 심전 아니 티바 첨보게 따지 니가 용선 조와 아니 냠스 랭겐데라 아니
So who are the principal, who are the actual ones of the third category are, those who are very wise, intelligent, and who are beholden to the Mahayana view as well as the Mahayana conduct.
뭐 텐더와디 컨디션에서는 코아다 냥을 대와 많이 토비 남도 주와데스 아니 시신이가 같아라 미나바
who are free from the two extremes of samsara and nirvana.
삼바 남바타바 미네미 냥을 대위 삼바짱
and who have the greatest purity of the intentions to attain the non-abiding nirvana.
아니 저바 용서 타바 로 아니 녀문바 메바 겨월인데 간에 녀문바 메바 아니 니제다 모름지 왕기 겨월 렘비
conduct is completely pure, and for whom there is no rebirth brought on by afflictions, and whose birth occurs only through compassion and prayers.
겨월 렘비 코알라 댐비 좋아쟁시가라 아니 코비 겨와 배 이름부 랭겐기 좋아쟁기 semjen te tamje ani dungadan chawan debi dungadan chawan o nyambagi ani nyingjedang an lasan namsa labesaba tembe rabdunewa ani 가서 지게와 그 시지 근데 지레스
and who take rebirth in samsara for a long time with that sense of responsibility to free all sentient beings from suffering, that I myself alone will be completely responsible to free all sentient beings from suffering, who are endowed with this compassion and that extraordinary supreme thought of such a responsibility, and who has the grounds for generating the Mahayana generation, means the basis for bodhicitta.
야, 다 되게 대제 무디 반다나 란주 남지 드 남시 세가랄 드바시당 안에 가사 시당 안에 다 따와 토맹기를 받주 드리다 뒤고 되어야 시자 드린다 시다.
So this completes the sections of the four types of individuals, the fourfold obscurations or veils.
Oh yeah. 사시 베제 조심에 도다리를 신인데 gem바디 산제 신도 메제부와 로그남다 신라제고 조이당 고로라나 카나야다야 장주 성조 렘보제 마게 파나 예게 바냠바 야고네 곤도 베바 조 고외 신감데 제레스 완전된 자조의 제베시티 파도된 시주는 라마 구제라된 제남과들의 조조자와다 로산된 베르메 주의미세다도 제잠베바의 제다 잠바다 군도 삼보된 대다 군지 제소다로 제거와대다 라도 미셰베 자와타 오아카나 초동아와데 다게게베 사와두근자 삼보추제랍동아와 아지슈제자오 아베스 아페와당게게 삼 튼자몰 조다당 신지 죄송당 제베 소년라 되는 자와로 엠바이지